nuggets or those attributes on ground and the accomplishment that His Excellency has accomplished in all spheres of humanity right now in Akwa Ibom. He said, having completed and held into high esteem the social contract that he entered with the people, it's only fair for me to judge the Excellency 8 over 10. And I have a reason for judging him 8 over 10. I would have said 9 over 10, but let me stay at 8 over 10 and I'll tell you the reasons as we continue.
Okay, the reasons as we continue. I do hope His Excellency is aware that there's hunger in the land, and that was perhaps why he came up with the bulk purchase thing. How far so far with the bulk purchase thing?
Yeah, I'm pretty satisfied, and I feel that you actually said that His Excellency is aware of the hunger in the land, which is actually true. We are blessed with a governor who really cares. We are blessed with a governor who is a leader, who is not a politician, and a leader is interested in the next generation, not the next elections, where politicians are crazy about the next election. So His Excellency has been very intentional with tackling what you've just mentioned, hunger in the land, which it is not just Akwa Ibom State. This is something that has ravaged the entire country, and we as a sub-national, we've taken the bull by the horn by going forward to instituting measures that will combat this hydra-headed medusa that has written into the fabrics of the society, as it were. So you look at programs that His Excellency have put into place to tackle these issues. We have the low-hanging fruits, and then we have the one that will have to wait further, and that has to do with His Excellency's agricultural policies. But before then, he talked about the bulk purchase agency, which was instituted as a result of what we have here, to tackle the hunger in the land. And if you look at it, if you follow it extensively as we are supposed to, you discover at first people were not supposed to buy that food at a reduced cost, 70%. Then all of a sudden, His Excellency, in his magnanimity and the human face that he has and the compassion which he comes with, he now made it free. And so things have been placed. People are taking these things. Some even local government to shock you. Some local government even took, in line with the Excellency body language, went a step ahead and even provided some of this food for even the vendors to even stand ahead. And I want to tell you, particularly the local government chairman of Umbo, he did that. He went and said, if my boss said this should be done, then me as his boy, as his appointee, I'm going to take a step ahead. And he went ahead. So the bulk purchase agency program and for provision of stable food, it's ongoing. It's perfect. It's working the way it's supposed to be work, and things are being put in place to make sure that it does not suffer any kind of disturbance as it's being implemented.
All right, we're taking a look at the Arise agenda, starting with the A, and as Otil already started with the A, which is agriculture and trying to get food security and all of that. The governor has sent people back to their farmland, saying that everybody should go back to their farmlands. But some would say that it's one thing for you to go back to your farmland, and it's another thing for you to be sure of a harvest. Would you say that the governor has done enough to enforce the anti-grazing laws?
When you say going back to farmland and then talking about anti-grazing law, these are a little bit two mutually exclusive events. But let's look at the issue of going back to the farmland. There are laws in life that you cannot change no matter what you do. First of all, the law of sowing and reaping. If you sow, you will reap. That is just the gospel truth. Another one that people have they know about it, but they tend not to take cognition of it, is that you always reap more than what you sow. Have you ever thought about it? Even in bad harvest, you're always going to reap more than you sow. So what do? It's advisable you sow, right? Now the third one I'm going to tell you here is that when you sow sparingly, you reap sparingly. And when you sow bountifully, you reap bountifully. So it is not in the Excellency's purview to now start dragging you to the farm. He has told you, go to the farm. We are going to providing day-old chicks for you. We are providing fingerlings for you. We are providing improved seedlings for you. The best you can do is to take a horse to the river. It is something we've known since we were kids. It's not left for the horse to drink, but you can drag the horse to the river. So His Excellency has dragged the horse to the river. So now we as horses now need to start drinking, because the river is at our beck and call at that particular point. So the provisions of fingerlings for fish farming, day-old chicks for poultry, improve seedlings, cassava stalks, stems and all whatnot, has been done by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Akwa Ibom State. Even the training of people in modernized farming with the model of the Songhai farming in view. People have been trained. About 5 hectares, as 50 hectares has been marked in Isidibium, its local government, for the kickoff of that farm. And His Excellency has mandated every chairman, local government chairman, transition chairman as they are right now, to make sure that in their capital city, in their capital town, they should provide at least 3 hectares of land for commercial mechanized agriculture, and then make sure that in every ward, every political ward, liaise with the PAs of the ward who are regarded as the ward governors to also provide at least 1 hectare of land in here. So things, the excellency has done what needs to be done, dragging the horse, like I said, not to bother you with a whole lot of grammatical jambagastic here, dragging the horse to the river. So what it remains for us, we are the horses now, we need to drink, and that's it. So I want to tell you categorically at this point that His Excellency has done well enough at this point for us to begin to take advantage of the agricultural policy of this administration. Now, people said, hey, how do I take it? It's simple. First of all, I told my people, because I'm a village man, I go to my village, you know, I tell my village people, look, listen, you guys need to form cooperative. You need to be in clusters, because that is how, because it's very difficult for one person to have 1 hectare of land in the village as well. But you guys can form a cluster and produce 1 hectare of land in the village. And that is where His Excellency, through the Ministry of Agriculture, will come in. I told them, go to room 99 at the State Secretariat. You get this information. You know, so information is key at this particular point. But I tell you, like I like to say, look at the Arise agenda in its entirety, embody it, embrace it. You will definitely find yourself in it. And I tell you, when it comes to agriculture, His Excellency has done excellently well. Moving. Now, in the anti-grazing, now when you look at the anti-grazing, that is the law. That's the law. Now, the agencies responsible for implementing that law should be the people that will ask the question, because if you look at the law, the legislators will pass the law, the executive will assent to it, and then the judiciary, as it were, are the people to implement. So it is not at this point the purview of the executive to implement laws. If you know how laws are being done, it is the purview of the judiciary, as it were, where you have the police, the soldiers, the civil defense, and if my civic education will serve me right at this point, to implement. So if the law, the His Excellency has at no point repealed that law, so the law is still existent. So with that question, for me, should be a question that should be passed to the judiciary when it has to do implementation. I think I'm correct there. I know that it's not the purview of the executive to implement laws. The people who are implementing laws are the judiciary. So what the legislators do, they provide the law, the executive assent to the law, and then the judiciary implement. So the judiciary should be held responsible if they are lagging behind in the implementation of that law. But I don't think they are at this point, because what we are having, I don't know, major complaint about the infiltration of our farmlands by our livestock.
Okay, if you're just joining us, it's a special edition of Melting Point on Memories 965 FM, and I'm here with my friend and brother Patrick Edeke, and he's throwing some light on the achievements of His Excellency in the past 1 year. Now, Edeke, let's come to the issue of road construction. Yesterday, the government house was at Oron Road for the commissioning of that state of the art, and of course, all important economic gateway into Akwa Ibom State. And so, some people say most of the projects are named after his predecessors. What do you say? What's your take on that?
I don't even understand that.
The Dakada Towers.
Okay, it is for me a defeatist.
Is it a soft spot?
It is for me it's a defeatist argument. Defeatist argument. Why is it defeatist? Because it actually holds no water. We have the Gospel Akwa Ibom International Stadium, which is also called the Next Top Champion. We have the Victor Atta International Airport.
One.
I don't get it. If we now have Udo Emmanuel's Boulevard,
as well as Udo Emmanuel Towers.
And if there's nothing wrong there. See, people just like majoring in minors. These are not what we should be looking at. But the first thing we should be looking at, you talked about the road. How beautiful that is. That's what we should be talking about. This is an administration that has come to complete every project that was hitherto not completed by the last administration. And that should be a thumbs up for this administration, because if you look at the trend of governance in Nigeria, once a new administration comes in, they dump all other projects and say, we did not start it, we have to go and start our own. But like I told you, this is an entrepreneur who is the governor right now, who is averse to wastage. This is a clergy who understands continuity. This is a chef who understands how all the condiments in a particular cuisine needs to be at balance so that you can get the real kind of taste that you desire. So he comes in and like, wow, we have this project started by somebody before me, and this project will all go well for Akwa Ibom. So irrespective of whether it was started by me or not, hey, we need to complete it, and we need to complete it in record time. And that was what happened. It was not just the airport road, which if you drive on that road now, you're going to be very proud to be an Akwa Ibomite. You won't want, if you have visitors right now, the last time my friend came in from Abuja and then he landed at the airport and then they were driving him to his hotel, I was like, Pato, are you sure we're in Akwa Ibom State? I was like, yeah, this is my state. He said, no wonder you don't even try to go to Abuja again, like you have Abuja here in Akwa Ibom. So that is it. And it's not just that, there are other numerous projects that the last administration started and this administration is completing. The bridge at Oburakara, it was started by the last administration and completed by this administration. So for me, that should be what we are looking at, the completion agenda, how these things are being done. That is really the truth about the completion agenda, No, so this is a beauty for us right now in Akwa Ibom State. When you look at infrastructure, His Excellency has done pretty well. One of the things that is happening to us right now in Akwa Ibom is that we've never had it this nice. So everybody in Akwa Ibom has adopted the Oliver Twist mantra. You understand? Something that people do in 4 years, His Excellency is doing it in 1 year. So it is within the right of everybody to say, hey, we want more. And I like to tell people, look, I can't sit down here and discountenance anybody asking for more. Yeah, I support you because for over time we've been browbeaten by rhetorics from past and from different administrations. So for us now, it's a new norm that wow. So this things can be accomplished in this record time. So hey, if this thing can be accomplished in record time, Your Excellency, we want more. So that's what's happening in Akwa Ibom State right now.
Mr. Patrick, talking about infrastructure. Now, at the beginning, one of the first months of this administration, it was announced that there will be one project per local government initiative. Now, considering what has been done in a year, how feasible or how achievable will it be to finish all the local 31 projects in all 31 local governments in 4 years?
You see, Rome, they say, was not built in a day, but Rome was built every day. That's the beauty of it. It wasn't built in a day, but it was built every day. So it is a continuous process. And I tell you, if you want to look at that, let's look at some of the major things that His Excellency has done. First of all, you have to look at the ones he completed, the one he started by himself and also completed. If you go back to the construction of the Ndia Street and environs in your local government area, the construction of the 1.1 kilometer Spring Road in Ikodopanel local government area, the construction of 2.1 kilometer Efenezan Street in Oron, the construction of 2.1. See, there are so many roads that His Excellency, the ones that have been flagged off, the ones that are completed, the ones that are ongoing. For me, particularly, like I like to say, I'm from Ombo. I'm super excited about the universal energy road that goes close to the location of the deep sea port. So His Excellency has done exceedingly well. And I tell you, if you go to if I sit down here to give you a chronology of some of the infrastructural development and construction that His Excellency is engaging, we might probably not leave this place. And then sometimes we're like, wow, so this is actually going on. And then people like, So what we're saying is, in essence, is that, like I said earlier, Rome was not built in a day. Rome was built in every day. The Excellency and this administration is building every day. And I tell you, once we have our acts together, you see the speed with which India Street was completed. You see the speed with which let me not go there. Maybe we might look at education and then we will talk about something that's been done in education. You saw the speed at which these things are done. You saw the speed with which the completion of the airport road was done. You see the speed with which the bridges in Oburakara was done. And I want to tell you, the construction of 3.3 Idwa Eket Road, the internal roads. Have you noticed right now that, although noise was not made about it, some of the potholes you saw around town, are you seeing them now? Have you not noticed when you drive around the town now? Have you not noticed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Go to a back road, go to, you see, those potholes are disappearing and nobody is taking notice. That is how.
Because
that
is not allowing us.
it is. That is how His Excellency operates.
All right.
It's not about the hula bolo. It's just that when the truth is about most of the things that happen with miracles is that miracles may be done in secret, but definitely you will see it in open. That's what is happening right now. So it's not about the noise that we're making. It's about you seeing these things on ground. And the beauty about this administration is the fact that it keeps hammering on patriotism and objectivity. And what does that mean? First of all, you must be an Akwa Ibom mind. You must like the fact that you're an Akwa Ibom mind. And you must address the fact that this is an Akwa Ibom project. Now, objectivity. If you feel these things are not being done, His Excellency is very open. This is the only administrator or the governor I know in Nigeria that has not changed his phone line. This is the only governor I know in Nigeria that is still using his Android phone. So you even if you have your Tuke phone, you can take it across to him. So he's open up for you to say, hi, His Excellency, that thing that was done in my area was not done properly. I think we could do it this way. Or, His Excellency, this one in my area has not been done, and let's look at it how it can be done. So that's the beauty of what is happening in this administration: patriotism and objectivity.
All right, our second guest just walked in, and we'd like to introduce him so we can throw our next question to him. He is a lawyer, journalist, chartered mediator, coordinator of Akwa Ibom Human Rights Community, executive director, Foundation for Civic Education, Human Rights and Development Advancement. His name is Barrister Clifford Thomas. Good morning to you, Bar.
Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, good morning, my friend in the studio.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning, listeners, because you are the ones that actually make this tick. And if you don't listen to us, we'll be speaking to thin air. So we want to say a very big good morning to you and congratulations, Memories FM, for making something mighty from a small thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barrister. Okay, so you've been here for some minutes and you must have heard all the things that Mr. Patrick said, some of the things that Mr. Patrick said. So before we go into the specifics with you, we'd like to know generally what would be your scorecard for the state governor for his performance during his 1 year in office.
Well, my scorecard, I'm not very generous with marks, but I will give him about 55%. But it's too early to assess him. As far as I'm concerned, he could make close to 100% based on the first foot he has put forward. I think he's trying to get it right and be different from others who made people to lose confidence in government. There's been a lot of apathy, but I think now he's trying to reach out to the people. Some people said he's playing to the gallery, but we're still watching him from civil society to see whether this thing is doing, whether it's a whitewash. But the few things we have seen him done, not just speak, the few things we have seen him done. First, he created a directional template for his government. He created a direction by bringing up the Arise agenda. Number two is being able to try to get people, galvanize the support of people, without even looking at his commissioners, because if we assess him based on those in his cabinet, I will give him something around 15 to 17%. The man has a vision, he has the drive, he has the focus, but I don't think a lot of those who are working with him in the cabinet are actually giving him the feeling to move forward. The man is in a hurry to bring about food sufficiency in Akwa Ibom, but the commissioner, the Ministry of Agriculture, has not responded positively in that direction. The man is trying to bring about security in the coastal lines, in the interior, in every inch of space of Akwa Ibom. But those who are actually supposed to know these things just come with a name, and a big name for that matter. And they have not been able to help interpret his dreams into reality. So he is the one, according to a local proverb here, that he's the one that faints. He's also the one that pours himself water. Nobody would appear to be helping him except very few people. And in all fairness to him, he has done well in the first 1 year. But it is too early to judge him. He could score less in 4 years. He could score more. But with the way he has started, I feel strongly, and I just hope I won't be proven wrong. I feel strongly that he's gone beyond the pass mark.
Okay, it's gone beyond the pass mark. Now, based on previous administrations, what do you think has been the magic one that has really united him or linked him to the national grid? Because most previous administrations often stay aloof when it comes to issues like that. What has been his magic wand in terms of national consciousness?
Number one, I think he has a broad mind. He has a broad mind. Somebody who schooled in Ikeja, who schooled in Lagos, and he was a street boy. He was beaten, and he also beat people. So he was involved in all of those things. He is wising up. He's a street guy. He's not the kind of guy that sat in his utopian estate and imagined things. He came with a very liberal mind. The balancing act he's been able to do between Abuja and his predecessor is one thing we still don't understand. I think God is involved in this, but I don't like bringing God into what God has given you wisdom to do. So he's been able to do a strong balancing act. He is good, he's in tune with the center, even though when politicians speak, I don't trust them. They double speak. But I think he's doing well to attract attention from the federal government. Even though he's he's in a PDP government, and the one in the center is APC. But I think he's been able to reach out. In fact, beyond just reaching out, he's taking Akwa Ibom to Nigeria. There's a man from Nasarawa State who is a special advisor or special assistant in this government, and he's been able to build a bridge across the Niger, and that way I think every good thing that is in Abuja will come to Akwa Ibom, including the Bakadip Seaport, which is the #1 project. In fact, it's a signature project everybody is looking up to, and we're very sure that his work, the synergies creating with Abuja, will bring to pass that particular project. But beyond that, he's attracting a lot of attention from the opposition. I'm a partyless person. I don't belong to any political party. From civil society, I'm a hardcore civil society person. But we've been able to assess him to say, well, he's going to do well given what he has done so far. But I think on the whole, that synergy, he has established a foundation for the synergy. He just needs to build on it. But let me advise him. He should not listen to surrogates or never do wells or those who want to gain cash in on his administration, like they're doing to Fubara and Wike. Now, if he feels that the pass is not really helping him, he should do away with that pass in a manner that will not make him have problems with that pass. But doing away with the pass does not mean you quarrel with the pass. You just ask for space, you ask for time, you ask for the opportunity to operate on your own, because if this government fails, it fails on the head of Governor Omar Basieno. If it succeeds, he will be sung and celebrated as the hero that Akwa Ibom people were looking for.
All right, Mr. Patrick, now, before we open the phone lines, now, under the Arise Compassionate Homes program, the governor is targeting 400 units of 2-bedroom bungalows for indigent families across the state. Though he commissioned 36 units on the 25th of May, how feasible in terms of finance is this in the next 3 years, or should Akwa Ibom might be looking forward to another abandoned, incomplete project?
I think when you use the word abandoned, that's a word that's alien to this administration. We don't know what is abandoned in this administration, because you can see the attention that His Excellency is given to every project of significance. And I'm excited that the Leonard Silk in the house. Even though as a member of the civil society, as they are, very strong critics as they are, because they like to see things the way they are, I sat down here, got back at the way he couldn't just help it, and you saw the way he was smiling when he was talking about His Excellency. It gives credence to the parlance where they say, in my local, that's when you bring something that is good to the marketplace, the people struggle for it. You can't go back home with something that is good to sell, and that is what His Excellency is right now, because even the most vitriolic detractors at this point have really got nothing to say. Not that it's a scent, and not that it's like it's getting it all correct, but you could see the lights, the proverbial light at the end of the the tunnel. The horizon is open. And like I said, I'm going to come to your question. There are so many things that is being done. Is the Minister of Agriculture might not have gotten it the way you expect it to get it, but they're moving. They're moving. Maybe after the show, I will show you some of the things they've done as per that area. But like I said, they're not noisy about it. It is not an administration that is noisy. You know, if you recall His Excellency's birthday, say, hey, don't celebrate me. Don't go to any newspaper to go and post my picture. You have that money? No. Go do some humanitarian job with it. You know? So it's an administration that is run on things that has to do with human welfare. If you go to His Excellency right now and you say, okay, like you talked about cashing out of a thing, and you go there and say, His Excellency, there's this project we need to do. The first thing I ask you is, how does it benefit our farmers? Not even him. So that's why I found out that a whole lot of people are a little bit silent when it comes to issues like that, because how will you answer that question if you did not factor in the welfare of our Aquabomite? You know, it already, whatever you're taking there is dead on arrival. So people are now trying to see how well. And then because His Excellency is very meticulous, you said he's a street man. I will not argue with that. He has been around. He grew up. He knew the street. He knows how it is to be down there. And he knows how it is to be up there. So he might not know it all, but he does know it a lot. So when you come out there to want to present anything, you know that you're talking to somebody who knows virtually what you're talking about. You know, so that is why the administration is gaining so much traction in just a year. Now, when you look at that, the compassionate home, I won't want to talk about how it came about, but that's another way of essentially showing his compassion for the people, and then also tackling the welfare of the people. If we were on TV, I would have shown you some of the houses that were being transformed. You know, 36 already in the first year. Now, when it has to do with momentum, if you know your basic physics or introductory technology, momentum, when you start, there's the points you get to, you increase speed, and that as you are increasing speed, that is how it works. Right now we are starting with 31 in the first year. You know what will happen in the second year? Probably we'll make 100 in the second year, because now believability has come into play. You know, some people when it has to do with the Ibom level, we're going to go there. I want to tell you about what has happened to the people over time. The people have been browbeaten into submission, not believing policies of government, and you don't blame the people for that, because that is the antecedents and precedents that has taken place in our subconscious. But now we are seeing a new normal, and people are like, wow. In the Ibom about 4,000 people were asked to come around. Some of them went away. But now, when they saw what has happened, like I tell you have 12,000 people waiting in the wings for that training, because believability is coming into play. That has to do with momentum as well. So if His Excellency can take 31 in the first year with all the challenges, and you know what has happened economically right now in the country, not just Akwa Ibom State, and I tell you, let me just chip it in. His Excellency has told us he has not taken one dime as loan since he came into office 1 year. Now imagine what will happen in the second year. We could make 100, and then the third year we could make 300, and before in the fourth year we are getting the 400 target. It's not somebody that has not done it before. You know, he has a conglomerate of business. He's a hotelier. He knows what building has to. You know how real estate works. So if he tells you that, look, we're going to achieve 400 in 4 years, he knows what he's doing. Remember, he told us that when he comes in, he's going to demystify governance. And whether you agree or not, the governance has been demystified in Akwa Ibom State. I'm going to say something. The council talked about His Excellency open up Akwa Ibom and taking Akwa Ibom to Abuja. I think it's the other way around. Akwa Ibom is going to Abuja is going to Akwa Ibom. I'm going to tell you why. You know,
if they don't believe in the product, you threw a proverb that every product
that is good,
that is marketable and sellable,
once you take it to the market,
so you have to be in the market.
That's what I'm saying. Abuja is coming to us right now.
Akwa Ibom has been taken to Abuja. The believability it's all right, enjoy. The believability you're talking about is to persuade people that, look, we've got good products. And once you tell people we've got good products and they believe you, that you are sincere about it, they will come to your house. Any good product you have, they will beat the bush and come into the forest.
I agree with you. What I was trying to do was semantics here. You know, you said we're taking Akwa Ibom to Abuja. I agree with you. I also feel that Abuja is coming to Akwa Ibom because
that's the end product.
We are no longer a secret. You know, we used to be a secret, a close kept secret. But right now, Akwa Ibom State is no longer a secret. You heard what the Minister for Aviation and Aerospace Management said when he came and saw what was happening at the airport, at the Victor Ata International Airport. You see, and when His Excellency visited the president, he told him, look, sir, we have done this, we have done that, we have done this. This is what we want you to come help us do. This is how governance should be. When he had the peace, the political peace, I want to attach the word political peace, because the truth about this administration is transparency. You know, we are at this administration, His Excellency has extensively and consistently asked those who are in this administration to be very transparent and truthful in their dealings, because you are humans and the people need to see the human part of you. Like, whether we agree or not, there was so much political toxicity that reached and ravaged this administration prior to the advent of this administration. And as we sit right now, sir, you yourself can tell me that those things have been doused, irrespective of political party line. Right now, you don't even know which political party is running in the state. The project is acquirable. So you find out that the Senate president comes in, have his birthday, His Excellency gets up, mandate every of his aides to go to that birthday. Have you seen that before? Different party. Okay. The Senate president comes in, he takes the Senate president to the government house, sit on the chair, my grandfather. That was a change you vacated for me. And now, please, sir, this is what we have done, this is what we have done. Please use your office to tell the federal government to come and do this for us. That is governance, sir. So it is that synergy that he has been able to create. Why? Because he knows virtually how these things operate, having been on the street himself. You recall when he built his first three-room hotel in Eke, he had no place to stay. He sleeps in the construction site. When all the workers might have gone, you sleep there. So he understands this thing, and that's why he has adopted the bottom-up approach in his governance. Have you noticed that now you no longer see young men on the gates of politicians shouting you're a leader? Have you noticed that?
Okay. That
is one of the things the executives are doing. Taking governance to the people. The true meaning and implementation of democracy. Government by the people, for the people, and complete and wholesale.
All right, listener, if you are joining us, it's a melting point, and we're melting down on the administrations of His Excellency Pastor Umo Eno as regards his first 100 days of 1 year in office, and we're also looking at where to cross the T's and dot the I's, and where he's missing out or where he's gotten it right or wrong. And you can as well be part of this discussion by dialing 0803 0857755 or 0809 0666909. Yeah, Clifford?
Yeah, I wanted to say something about this issue of compassionate housing. They should leave that adjective of compassionate housing. Do the housing, the people will see. 2, ensure that you don't spend all your monies or you don't fund the entire project yourself. There are windows of funding, windows of opportunity. When appointing or bringing in a new set of commissioners, let the commissioners bring to the table every project that we put 1 million naira. You must show us how to get 100,000 naira, 10% from outside what we bring internally. You must also be able to generate something. There was a point in time when Cross River State was making 13% GDP from the funding windows that civil societies opened. So he has to work with civil society. He has to work with not politicians, compensate politicians, but do some other thing to bring about good funding.
All right, we'll come back to housing. There's a call here. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Master.
You're welcome.
Good morning to you.
Good morning, Master Clifford.
Hi, good morning, sir.
Another case.
Good morning, sir.
I am this with our calling from the Newsroom to government.
Okay. Fire.
I want to appreciate your case on the studio, in the studio. I'm trying to speak critically what this administration has brought to the table. Well, as you know me, I don't always hide my truth. But what is that if somebody does something good, or if somebody does something praiseworthy, I'll say you have done praiseworthy. Well, His Excellency has surprised me, let me put it that way. Yeah, as you know, the last administration, I always be the front line critics of the last administration because of the way the administration was being run. So I have to say, I have to say also in this administration that the administration, this present administration has done so much. I'm not good at impress, but when someone does something good, I must say. So I want to appeal with the guests in the studio and also the government listening to me right now. We should do every fancy effort to build the Bangladesh seaport. That is the frontline project that every environment is looking on to. And also appeal to the excellence. Some of those commissioners of law how they need to brought to the table, those commissioners should be sharper. I've been somewhere like that productive. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your contribution.
We're still taking up some more calls. 0803 085 7755, 0803 085 7755, or 0809 066 6909. We're streaming live on Facebook, and the handle is Memories965 FM. So drop a comment, and then we'll definitely read it out. We're beginning to close the curtains on the state government, but just I'm going to let you conclude on what you were saying about the compassionate housing. Well, let's take this call before I throw in my question.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Memories.
You're welcome. What's your name? From your
Yeah, I want to ask the guest in the studio, the essence to the government. We don't know what that was used by the past government. So is it generating revenue for the state currency? The question goes to the government.
All right.
And secondly, I want to congratulate the Patrimonio. He has done so well in the last 1 year. I pray you don't give him the grace to do more. Because please, this is the question you go to the governor.
All right.
What is the governor doing concerning leadership? They put citizens in a private state and 12 citizens in a private state. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. You got 2 questions. What is it doing to control the skyrocketing fuel prices, as well as, okay, there's another one. Hello, good morning. Yes, good morning. Can we meet you?
I am Justin Napoli from Sylvia.
Okay, you're welcome.
I really thank our excellence, Governor Mono, for what he has done. In fact, I believe the federal government is now doing its full step, because we have foreseen that let all the rural government chairmen, all of them, they should go to the rural areas as well, so that they will access the technology and infrastructural development in the rural area. I believe that's the extent that the federal government is dragging all the state governments to come, so that the local authority and the local government authority should be granted. Our governor has seen the need to release money for them to go back to their respective rural areas and develop local government areas and develop. So I know that our governor, irrespective of what the court case will come out as a result of that, he will release his funds to the local government for them to develop the rural area. So it's a good vision. In short, God is the one that has picked him for us, so that we all learn from him how to lead people with compassion. I really thank him so much for the 1 year he has done the life. I have done excellently well. May God keep him and protect all of you there. And I also thank you for your support to bring him on daily basis, so that the people of our Bible will have confidence in our also believe. Thank you so much for hearing from you people. Thank you, bye.
Thank you very much for contributing.
Okay, we
All
have
right.
another call.
Just
Let's quickly take that.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you. Welcome, Precious.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right.
What I want to contribute this morning to this program is not about lending roads in the city. We should come down to these rural areas and see how we can really suffering. A lot of people are suffering because of hardship. A lot of houses. In fact, I know the governor is a compassionate one. Yes, I really thank him for that. But they should send some officials to come down to some rural areas to see what is happening. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you very much. Plato.
Yeah. The one I really want to really look at right now, because just like Cass talked about, is the
Deep support.
support, because those who understand how the state or nation can be transformed economically, and hitherto in other aspects understands the importance and significance of having an existing seaport. And for those of us who are in Akwa Ibom State, because of we are divinely geographically positioned in a place where we have a shoreline, apart from being virtually arguably the longest shoreline of about 120 kilometer shoreline, we also have
126.
126 precisely. We also have the natural depth at Ibaka there. So citing that place, citing the seaport there was not a mistake. So it is a good thing. And then you have to understand that the Prophet Muhammad, peace of Allah be upon him, said actions are judged by intention. So whatever action you take says a lot about the intention of why you're taking that action. And His Excellency, when he came in, everybody who knows about the construction of a seaport or bringing a seaport to fruition knows that the first thing that should come to your mind is access road. Access road. If they are telling you any story that we are going to have a seaport and then they're not talking about access road, it's rhetorics. And that's why this administration is not engaged in rhetorics. And His Excellency has given up the contract there. The 13.6 kilometer Orugum Universal Energy Road that ends at Ibom DC Port. It's ongoing. It's handled by this I think it's Amity Construction Company. They are there on ground right now. They are working on that. So it means for me, as far as I'm concerned, that is action. That is an action that gives birth to the intention of which the Excellency has. And I don't want to stay on air and say so much amount of money has been committed to that project, because I know it has been committed to that project. You see, the thing that happened before is that we were making the mistake of ethnicizing that project. That was what we were doing, and it was counterproductive. I keep telling people every time for over 5-6 years, this time I have the opportunity to be on air, that project is not an ethnic project. That project, it has the capacity to take over the entire Bight of Bonny, the Gulf of Guinea, the entire hinterland towards even to Abuja, because of the enormosity of the kind of project, business that will come there. If you compare Akwa Ibom State to Lagos, Lagos has just one international country bordering Lagos, which is Benin Republic. Now, if you stay at Ibaga and the whole of those coastline, you have about 6 countries. On the sea there is just about 3 hours nautical miles. Cameroon, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea, Cote d'Ivoire, Cape Verde. Are you saying that? So you can imagine the plethora of business and economic activities that will come. So I'm very sure that His Excellency is not going to relent in bringing to fruition the completion of Ibaga Seaport before he leaves. Now that being said, somebody talked about because somebody called from Moron, and that is very important to me, talked about the rural areas and yes, because see, over time, we are people. I like this administration for the fact that we are very, very transparent in this administration. Over time, the Oron people has felt really, really marginalized in this system. And I cannot sit down here and discountenance that. So when somebody brings up a question from the other side, I like to look at it intentionally, because charity, they say, begins of home. I'm going to go back home. I'm from the other speaking side. Now, the word, let's talk about the rural areas. Now, anybody who is in the rural area that has something that needs attention, that's why His Excellency made sure that every political ward, about 369 or thereabout in Akwa Ibom State, have a PA. These PAs have direct access to the Excellency. They are called ward governors. So anything that is happening right now at your ward, you have the right to go to the PA and get that complaint. And if the PA is not living in your ward, let us know. His Excellency has made it expressly clear that any of the PA that is not residing in the ward will be changed. So, like I said, His Excellency has dragged us to the river.
All right, let's
start drinking from the river.
Yeah, there's a WhatsApp message here. Good morning, Sharon the Great. Are you great? All right. Good morning, Sharon the Great. Good morning, Honorable Patrick Edeke and my erudite barrister Clifford. I have never seen a governor of Akwa Ibom State doing things differently like Pastor Moino. I would have scored him a pass mark, but for the fact that he has more years to roll out dividends of democracy to the people of Akwa Ibom State. Finally, even though I don't see anybody at the moment, even if I don't, anybody at the moment that is receiving gratuity, I congratulate him as well. I'll score my governor 100% for paying over 15 billion naira to pensioners who were crying for their entitlements within a short period.
Over 16.
Please, Sir Edeke, how can I have the governor's number? Because I have a solution to one of the challenges facing the state.
Okay, before you give a response to that, I don't know if you're going to give out the governor's number on air, but we have some comments on Facebook from Frank Tom. It's fascinating to have the bar who would analyze it in different perspective, not equivalent to one of the governor's cabinet members in the studio. Let's call a spade a spade. Bob Godwin is saying Happy Democracy Day, if not for anything, for the benefit of freedom of speech, Democracy Day. Carlton Alexander, I want to solicit to Barrister Clifford not to admit in some point with your panelist flattering remarks. The barrister should be skeptical in some point. Annabelle Ecuador says your panelists should also look at the other side of the coin. Don Mark is saying, greetings Sharon and the bar. 1 year in office isn't 1 week, neither is it 1 month. I said that to say this, no room for procrastination and blaming games. Michelle Stephanie says, we are not elaborating where projects are cited, but how much had those projects generated to the GDP? That's the bone of contention at the moment. Let's take 1 or 2 calls before we proceed. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
That is Basim coming from you.
Welcome,
You're
Basim.
welcome.
Okay. The essence is talking about transparency. Let me ask you one question. The road, how much is that cost to the state government? That's 1. 2. I'm surprised you have said to God if I can this report. Even the other people in the studio are going up to God if I can this report. But it's still coming from this report. That's answer the question.
Thank you very much for your contribution. You have a lot on
Yeah,
your plate, and our time for state government is almost
let me take that last one, because you see, people are very emotionally attached to name, and I respect that. And I will sit down here and then say, hey, why are you not calling it Igbo, or why are you not calling it Ibaga? Are you getting me? It's just like the nest of champions. If I say nest of champion, do you know what I'm talking about? You know, what if I say Gospel Aquarium International Stadium? Do you know what I'm talking about? Is this place one and the same place? Mm-hmm. So you can decide to call it Next of Champion. It's cool with me. You can decide to call it Gospel Aquarium International Stadium. It's cool with me. Like I said, I don't want to quote the person. I said, let's go beyond this nomenclature and get this project working. We have passed, seriously, this is my personal opinion. I have gone past the nomenclature. All I want is that let this project come to fruition. And I don't want to say that anybody who feels attached to the nomenclature should be. That's the person's decision. And I respect that. Are you getting me? I can interchangeably call it Ibaga or call it Igbo. When I feel, like he said, I also call it Ibaga and I also call it Igbo. I don't know what you want to call it, Patrick Edeke's seaport. But that being said, that's about remind me, some
21 story building.
Yeah, the 21 story building.
How many people will be employed?
You see, someone talk about the transparency. Now, he talked about the India Street. You see, the beauty about what is happening here is that now this is who we are. First of all, we're looking for projects to be done. Then the project is done. Then the next thing we are jumping to what? How much was spent in the project?
Well, it's very fundamental. If you must be transparent, it's very fundamental.
I'm going to take it step by step.
Figures should be attached to it.
Now, what I'm trying to say is, what am I trying to say is this now? Wow, beautiful. That means, first of all, the project has been done, right?
Yes.
Beautiful. So how much is being done? It is not in my place to sit down here in the studio and start telling you.
But are you against people asking for how much? No way.
The Freedom Information Bill that has been passed over years ago is there for people to have access. You see, one of the beautiful things about this administration, it is its synergy with the civil society. I know that His Excellency in virtually most of the public hearings has made sure that the civil society is involved. My friend Frank he's always there. And he doesn't even toe the line of the administration. But each and every time there is a public hearing, he's invited because that is an opinion that needs to be heard. And like I said, what His Excellency prioritizes what? Patriotism, number 1, number 2, objectivity. Okay. If you see something that is not done properly, it is in your purview as an Akwabomite to mention it. And then he will get it. For the number of His Excellency, do I have it? I'll check it before the end of the day.
Why don't you make yourself the clearinghouse? Whoever has information or whoever has something to offer the governor could reach the governor through you. If you do that, that will suffice.
It's not a bad idea. I'm always there. Those who if you see some of those people talking, there are people who know me, who know me that I'm a street person. I'm always on the street. I'm in my village. I'm around in New York. Anywhere you see me, you know, when it has to do with administration, get across to me. I will make sure in my own little office, get across to my bosses, and then we'll follow the bureaucratic chain.
Barrister, we have like 4 minutes left, and I would like to throw
to do what?
But
on state government, before you ask that question, let me also quickly interject.
Because I'm about to send you a 2-barrel question. So
no, hold on. Keep your gunpowder. Let it be done. Now, talking about the 21-story building, I honestly will feel very strongly and objectively that that building is a waste until setting not appropriate the benefit of that building. 21-story building, very fine. Do you know that that building is powered every day? Because it's a smart building. The lifts have to work. They have to be lubricated. All the machineries there, they have to be lubricated. And you are saying that you built it for mobile. We had said when that building was conceived that mobile will not come. Because you can't build for mobile. Mobile is American interest. They will have to design it and know what is in it and know where the escape routes are before they come. You can't build for mobile. That's a clear fact throughout the world. Number two, if that building is converted to an international hotel, beautiful location, beautiful structure. The worship center is converted to an international conference center. That building will serve the conference center, and you'll be amazed at the fact that we'll need to employ a minimum of at least 400-500 persons there. And then the conference center will serve multi-purpose events. And then that place will be very busy, and then you'll be able to reticulate the funds that is injected in there. The state government doesn't have any business spending money to maintain that kind of humongous building. That building is a pride to Akwa Ibom, even though we still have our reservations over some things with respect to that building. But it's a fine project, and we also have to. Somebody said no, that the barrister should be saying something like, no. If something is good, it's good. If it's good in Uyo, if it's good in Honolulu, you must say it is good. And all you need to do is support that good thing to become better, because there's always room for improvement. And what we are shouting now is, please, Your Excellency, listen to ideas that will improve. But you are not compassionate. Your Excellency, you are not doing Akwa Ibom people a favor. You struggle to become governor to serve, not to show us compassion. So I totally disagree with the issue of showing compassion. Okay. So you can go ahead with your question.
Okay. We're going into education now. That should be the last aspect before we go into the federal government. So going into education, I know that Mr. Patrick is itchy to talk about the remodeling of the school CKS in Wellington Bassey, but that's why I'm throwing the question to you now. Now, the state government, apart from the remodeling of the school, the state government plans to send over 35 students drawn from public schools and from most vulnerable families, carefully selected to attend an educational exchange program in the London borough of Southwark. It's going to be a yearly program. I'd like to know your take on this, but my second question, still on education, is it has been said times without number that education remains free and compulsory on the primary and secondary, in the primary and secondary level, but the remuneration of the teachers remains the same. Suggests that something should be done about it to boost the morale of the teachers.
Don't ask me to suggest. Ask me to do a situation analysis.
Okay.
Do we have a driving philosophy for education in this state? How would you, in your senses, think or call education? Is education just a formal thing? No, it's not. Do we have a driving philosophy? I will honestly say we don't have a persuasive and a strong driving philosophy for education. What is the general focus of education, formally or informally? Education is a conscious effort to deprive yourself from the shackles of ignorance. And once you are deprived of this, you redeem yourself from this ignorance, you are free to invent things. We don't have a principle for education. We still run with the colonial principle of education in this country. It would amaze you to know that most of the products we get from China are actually manufactured by students from technical schools. We have one. We have the Dakar is it Technical Center, the former college?
Technical college.
Yeah, Technical College. We have machineries there that have not been used. They were killed by corruption. Part of education is the fact that we abandon where we sunk so much money. The Akwa Ibom version of the Silicon Valley, which is the, Oselo, you can help me, at Nasarawa axis. The Patrick, you know these things now.
Science Park.
That science park would have become a technological institution that would have brought in a lot of people to help drive the process for this. That is education, not just the Ministry of Science and Technology. It's a multi-sectoral thing. Education, we don't have that philosophy. That's one. If we have a driving philosophy of the new normal in education, and what's the new normal? Create the pace. The Commissioner for Education, I regret to say, does not understand what education means. I sincerely regret to say, and I want to be persuaded that he knows or she knows what education means. We have various strands of education. It's one of the biggest ministry that affects lives. What add-on? You don't need to wait for the governor who is governor of the state to also become the Commissioner for Education. The governor is thinking for special advisors or assistants on education. It's wrong. The governor has a plan. Why don't you come and help the governor by interpret his plan and add some things that will make that plan fly very well. So to say that we're taking about 40 or so students to UK and all of that, no, they should come. They should come here. Make the environment conducive enough. Like Patrick was saying, that Akwa Ibom is not going to Abuja, but Abuja is coming to Akwa Ibom. You must create an enabling environment which is devoid of corruption, because corruption is part of why you have thriving private schools. Every Dick, Tom and Harry in government wants to run a private school because they've killed public education. The schools, one of the things they did in kill public education was to kill the morale of the teachers. If you pay teachers very well, teachers will be very happy to go to interior areas, Eastern Obolo, islands, Fiat islands in Mbo, and islands elsewhere. They will be able to go there, and because they get very fine incentive. Now the governor is driving his vision himself. There's nobody helping him to drive that vision in terms of education. I was at Obodokara when he took a personal tour, devoid of security men. They were struggling to go to the building with him. He went there, personally inspected the place, and he gave an instruction: pull down this building in 2 weeks. I want to bring Uyo to Obodokara. And I see by the time he finishes that place, a lot of parents in Uyo, they will send their children to that school, because that school will become the hallmark, the center of excellence in terms of primary school education. And for the first time, he said he's going to build a living quarters for the teachers to be there. So anytime you go, you meet a teacher, not a teacher coming from Uyo to East Obodokara to teach. So we must first get it right. What is our Akwa Ibom based philosophy for education? If you look at informal education here, you'll be amazed that it thrives better than the formal education. The formal education, you can imagine the first 2 weeks of students resuming in primary school, you have to cut class. 3 weeks, you clear class. The next 2 weeks, you prepare yourself for education. The 5th or 6th week, the teacher is busy selling granite or puff, something that will help augment what he gets, because his salaries are not paid on time. He is totally demotivated. But if this government comes with that motivation, it will be good. Exchange programs are very good. They are very good, but don't look at the UK, it's very expensive. You can look at other countries where the exchange rate is somewhat appreciable and better, so that you can go get something. You make some of our schools centers of excellence for some of those schools. It's not even a government thing. It's what somebody who stays there, who lives there, can do. I have adopted, let all the councillors adopt a primary school in their locality. Let chairmen adopt primary schools. Let them not say, in fact, once you are appointed into government, Withdraw your children from private schools. Put them in public schools. Become the first supervisor of that school. Make sure you go watch the quality of tutelage, check the facilities that they use. But if you are appointed into a government which has primary schools, secondary schools, tertiary institutions, and your children are in private schools or abroad, you don't have any business in that government, because you have given a vote of no confidence on that government. But let's start with philosophy for education. And I don't think the Commissioner for Education has that. They don't even want to listen. They don't want to learn. When you tell them, give them information, they feel that you are in civil society, you are automatically in opposition to government. None of them, even a decade here, does not love this government like people in civil society does. Civil society people. You seated here as anchors, you love this government better than them. They have a motivation, which is their salaries, the emolutions they get,
I
the emoluments
wouldn't
they
say
get.
that you should generalize that.
No, I'm generalizing it because I know. I put it to a decade that he doesn't love the government more than me. In case you don't love the government, I love the government more than all of them.
Okay, let's just quickly go into.
That's why we're telling the government the truth all the time.
It's 7 minutes past 11.
Yes, you see, Sharon, don't be in a haste to leave Akwa Ibom, because too much of Afghanistanism will not go well for us. You see, this is Akwa Ibom, it's ours, and it will not hurt us if we look at what is really our issues right now, because we are a subnational that must get it right. And as it is right now, we are no longer the secret that we used to be. Yes, that we used to be. When it comes to the issue of loving the government, I don't know about that. I don't know about his council's and his legal council's position. But I, for one, everybody in Akwa Ibom State knows how I love this government, and that was why.
No, you have a motivation for loving the government.
We don't have. When you talk about motivation,
we don't have.
Let me say something.
But I appreciate the cerebral attitude you have.
Council, let me say something.
He's working for it.
At the time His Excellency appointed me, let me give you a real brief history of how my appointment came. I wasn't appointed with the rest when they were appointed. Yeah. I got my appointment 9 months after. And then at the point His Excellency was appointing me, after, it wasn't even a meeting for appointment, it was like a media party. And then all of a sudden, Excellency asks, I don't know if there's one young, I don't know if he's here, there's one young man, I don't know if he's in this hall. And he said, Patrick Edeke, and with all privilege from divinity, I was in that hall. And I stood up, and His Excellency said, this young man has been supporting this administration. He has been supporting me before I became governor. He has been supporting this administration even when I became governor. 9 months, I have not appointed him. He has not relented. So where was the motivation? And at that point, he said, or to this end, go and get your appointment. So when it comes to loving this administration and loving His Excellency, I don't think even if his family people love him, the more I love him. But that's on the other side. And we are happy that you're loving the administration, because the truth is, hey, if you don't love the administration, there is nothing like unconditional love. I agree with that. You are loving this administration. This administration is listening to you. This administration is doing the thing that you expect this administration to do. And when it comes to the issue of education, you see, I like what you talked about education. You say freeing the mind from ignorance.
The shackles of
ignorance. And then before you do that, these are intangible things to start with. When you want to free your mind, you start with intangibility, like the mental mind of it, which is what this administration is doing. Apart from the physical structures you are seeing, one of the things that the administration is doing in the era of education is also the upskilling of teachers training, principals and teachers. They are doing that. First of all, is what they call training the teacher, training the trainer. Yeah. So it starts with the mental part of it before we come to the physical, and even with the remuneration. If you find, like I said, Rome wasn't built every day, but Rome was built every day. There's been the injection of the 13th month that was hitherto missing for some time now. That's some level of motivation, and it goes to, where did it go to? It goes to the civil service, and whether we like it or not, the bulk of civil service in Akwa Ibom State is the educational sector. So the out of the over 16 billion that His Excellency has earmarked and expended so far on gratuities, teachers' pension, promotion arrears, and all whatnot, it's geared towards the education sector. So are we where we are supposed to be? No, far from it. Far from it. But are we where we used to be? No, we have moved. And then when you see the physical structures, the physical infrastructure that His Excellency is putting in place, I am super excited that you mentioned the Oburokara issue. That's to tell you that when I tell people that my governor is no longer in the corridors of power, he's on the street, people try to wonder, what do I mean? This is the demystification of governance that he promised you. When he went to Oburokara, he did not go to inspect the schools. He went there to commission a bridge that was started by the past administration, completed by his administration. Then he saw the performance of the presentation that the student presented there, and he was wondering, do we have such cerebral kids in this locality? Let me just go and see the schools where they stay. And that was how he went to the school. And thank God, the General Council just said he does not wait for those protocols of security stuff. He went there and saw the school, and he was teary-eyed. There and there, he made the decision: bring down this place. We are bringing you. Now, why is he bringing down that place and bringing you there? It goes back to his Arise agenda: rural infrastructure development and maintenance. So that what are you trying to do there is to mitigate against the influx from rural urban migration, so that when you have that school there, you don't have a need to start coming to you. Because when CKS came up, everyone was like, wow. Even me, I felt like going back to primary school and I saw CKS. So the educational sector, are we handling it well? Yes, we are. Are we where we ought to be? No, but we are moving towards there. Are we where we used to be? No, we have moved, and we are going to move. And I don't want to sincerely say that the commissioner does not know what she's doing. I think she's taking her time, and they're taking.
All right, thank you very much.
Taking her time
in
a government that is moving very fast.
Okay, let's take some.
Okay.
And she seems, I want to believe that she's part of.
Yeah,
the
somebody is on the line now. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning once again.
Yeah.
Good
Yes,
morning,
you're
welcome.
welcome.
Now, the everyone has said it all. Yeah, this is why I think that some commissioners should be sharper, some be rich, but then fat. Some people don't do that in short, they then put it that way. Let's bring new minds, people that can bring ideas. Let's take the government and people that can bring ideas into making the government succeed. It is we, the people. We can have, for example, mindset that I'm giving government, I'm being like a watchdog to the government. So let's bring people to, and maybe women that can bring new ideas, they can bring the government to succeed. People that have been used from the land and they have been short the place, show if I use the wrong way. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have some Facebook comments that I would like to read out. Dalton Robert says, let's call a spade a spade. I said this to say nobody, neither can the governor nor the cabinet member in the studio can account appropriately for bulk purchase. If yes, he should tell us the number of local governments that had sufficient food by the virtue of bulk purchase. Who is deceiving who? Alias Shakespeare, greetings Sharon. Frankly speaking, I personally deserved my opinion about both the president and governor's scorecard in 1 year, and I don't expect any contrary remarks from your panelists as a cabinet member. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. Then Don Kelvin says, how would naming projects after my predecessor or after predecessors put food on my table?
I want to address something here. You see, I'm a man of faith. Are you getting me? I'm a man of faith, and then when I see people say something consistently, I don't stop them, because probably it is divinity that is whispering it to them. At this moment, as we stand here, I'm not a cabinet member, but I'm an appointee of His Excellency, privileged appointee. But I won't stop the fact that probably it's divinity that is whispering to them that at this point, probably I am due to become a cabinet member. Let me stop there. I'm not a cabinet member yet. So
let me punctuate your thoughts. It will be very good for the media community. I have done 33 years in the media. It will be very good for the media community if we have something like a decade in government, so that all these things he's been saying, he's been blowing the trumpet for Governor Moeno. Let him go and let him walk the talk.
No, it's not just about.
No. I'm not campaigning for you, but I am saying I've known you over the years. But you are the one that may not know me. But we once we see something good, we say this is good. Let it not sound like you are a mere publicist or a mere propagandist. Go and walk the talk.
Thank you, Council. But the beauty about this administration is that you cannot even be a propagandist. You know, because the things are there for people to see, criticize, and then use it as verifiable feedback to the system. So you cannot even be a propagandist. Like the construction of these schools, you see, when the government tells you we've done it or we're doing it in Okobo, in Oron, across the state, you can go to your locality there and say, this one we have not seen it here yet. Are you getting me? That is the transparent nature of this administration. I like to tell people, look, I am not against the fact that people are asking for more, because it has never been this good, to be fair. You know, so what has happened in 1 year is what some administration will use as scorecard in 4 years, in a tenor. And we're like, wow, are we just in the first year? And naturally we're human beings, we always want more. And I can't sit down here
You think Akwa Ibom people expected less?
No, that's what I'm saying. Over time, to be
So
fair.
how much is given, much is expected.
Over time, to be fair. That was why His Excellency asked for the scorecard of the local government chairman. When he asked for some people still criticize, why would he ask for the scorecard?
Why would he?
This is what human beings are, but we don't want to. We're not deterred or perturbed about that. Are you getting me? Because he is presenting his own scorecard.
Yes.
Definitely, anybody who is saddled with the responsibility of public funds must also present their scorecard. So this is where we are going to. Like he said, council is saying, although I don't know his line of thought in that particular angle, that nobody is helping His Excellency. I don't know his point neither, because I know that His Excellency is the captain of the team. And then the team is made up of other players. Some people play defense, some people are goalkeepers, some people are strikers, and all whatnot.
His Excellency is playing attack, he's playing midfield, he's playing defense. At times he goes in to cover for the goalkeeper. He's absent.
I might as well be the referee.
Definitely you must have the most valuable player in the team. Everybody sees him. If you are somebody who watch football, even if you don't watch football, you hear of the Ronaldo, you hear of the Messi. They are not the only person that play in the team. It's made of 11 players and reserve. But they are the most valuable player in the team, because virtually winning with the team requires their expertise. So that is who His Excellency is with this administration, the most valuable player in this administration. And I like the fact that he has a team with which he works with. Sometimes these teams might look quiet. That is why his council is like, this commissioner is not working.
I like your
This commissioner is not working.
Yeah.
This commissioner is working. I don't want to say from that perspective.
The high fallopian language you're using to describe a failed team that is not helping the most valuable player, it's
but that is why now if you
regrettable.
say the team is failing, then we wouldn't have recorded this achievement in 1 year. Remember, first of all, I must take you back a little bit, that this is an administration that came out with a budget that was even smaller than the budget of the former administration, amidst the inflation and what we are going through. And that this administration that in 1 year he has told us that the Akwa Ibom State has not borrowed a dime elsewhere to facilitate all the projects that you see that is taking place. So this administration is winning. The team is winning. We are oiling. We are getting there. It's just the first year. For those of us who are Chelsea fans, we know how we felt when we are no longer winning trophies again.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
But with what is going on, so the team is blending. The team is blending. So the team is moving forward. And I tell you, and I stand to be corrected, which will really come, because what we are turning out here are verifiable facts. Something you can go to your locality and come back and tell us that, hey, this one was not done in locality, and we will go there and find out why it wasn't done. That's the level of this administration, and that's why His Excellency has not changed his number. I want to tell you something about what happened at Atiku. Some people said, that Atiku place, Ndem, there's Ndem in that place. They even gave the Ndem the name. That's why the place was always flooded. They said the Ndem will never allow that place to work well. His Excellency was at a wedding. Somebody anonymously sent him a video of that place on a Saturday with all the flood and everything. His Excellency, I recall, was wearing a white cloth. He left the wedding immediately, went to that place. In fact, he was at the verge of entering the flood because until the security cordon off. There and there, he instructed that place should be fixed, devoid of any bureaucratic bottleneck. Today, as we speak, the Endem has relocated. I don't know where the Endem has relocated to, but we're still waiting to see where the Endem will wear its ugly head again, so that we can go there again and fix it. So that is the kind of administration we're running right now in Akwa Ibom State. So where things are done. Let me tell you another one that happened in, I think it's there's a person, a very cerebral critic. His name is Celestin Mel. Celestin wrote about a road in his community. I think he tagged that is right up the road that kills pregnant women. And His Excellency stumbled on that article.
Because he reads.
Yes, His Excellency stumbled on that article. And His Excellency Celestin did not know that this was going to happen. His Excellency went to that place, commissioned that, flag off that road, and that road has been fixed today. And he told the people, look, listen, it was your own son, Celestin Mel, which you people know is a major critic. It's not like he came to... No. He talked about this road, and I discovered that, yes, this is what is happening. And he came there, and the road is fixed right now, under construction as we speak right now. This is to tell that this is administration that listens. This is administration that listens.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are aware.
Concerning one of the comments on Facebook, say, can you tell us the number of local government that had sufficient food by the virtue of bulk purchase? Can you?
Mr. Patrick Edeke earns income, and he sits in a stream that draws money from the federal government. Let him come and buy airtime to explain these things. Yes, I let him buy airtime. Can we go to federal government?
Let's move on. Let's
go
move on to
to
the federal
Abuja.
government.
Let's go to Abuja.
All right. If you're just joining us, this is the melting point. This is a special edition. We're talking about 1 year anniversary of the state government and the federal government, the president in particular. We're done with the state government. We're going to be opening phone lines later on to talk about the federal government. But let's delve into questions. Let me start with you, Barrister. Would you say, I know that the President Tinubu said that this 1 year anniversary should be low-key. Would you say that it's worth celebrating? And if no, would you say that, the expectations of Nigerians were far-reaching, considering the fact that he picked up the administration in a...
How many questions are those?
Triple barrel.
Comatose situation, a comatose state. So would you say that the expectations of Nigerians were far-reaching? If no, to the first question.
To start with, the previous administration did not only kill governance or development in this country. You may, by virtue of NBC, you think I'm very harsh. No, I'm not harsh. Even the former president confessed that his cows are better than Nigerians because they listen to him without replying. They just follow every instruction he gives. So the former president administration overborrowed. And when they overborrowed, they borrowed so much that your grandchildren may not be able to pay all. That is how this government came in. The federal government came in with that. They didn't meet any money on ground. And then there were commitments to pay back, to service loans. So one of the first things they did on June 12, when the administration came in on May 29, was to ensure through the instrumentality of the IMF and the World Bank, ensure that the estimated more than 240 million Nigerians actually pay for governance in this country. So was there fair subsidy? No, I don't think there was. There was not. That's our position in civil society. You can hold your position and fault us wrong. But we had to pay. We had to increase fuel, the cost of fuel price, the cost of fuel, to ensure that so much money came into governance, because at a point it was clear. In fact, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala had mentioned it at an international forum, that the government was broke. There was no money to run a lot of things, and federal civil servants were owed projects. There were no commitments to those projects again. So we needed to take off. When he came in on May 29, he announced a regime of suffering for all Nigerians, that we all have to now pay for the misadventure of the previous administration to enable this administration take off. So to that extent, Nigerians are still suffering from it. And not only fuel, it went as far as electricity, went to other sectors. In fact, I had listened to the news this morning that we are mismanaging. We've destroyed 300 and something private small holding of refineries. Instead of bringing them back, teaching them, and giving them modern facilities to refine those products and make sure they buy the crude legitimately and ensure that we have modern way of refining. So this administration came in with a lot of burden, and those burdens had to be swayed. In fact, the administration at Akwa Ibom did not come in with a much burden that way, even though this state, the present governor, has not told us how much debt he met, because he doesn't want to upset the boat. But in the last administration owed so much, I think almost 78 trillion naira. I'm talking of the federal government. How do you service those loans? At a point in time, I think over 40% of our budget went into servicing of loans, which is a very sad thing. So this administration will say yes, it came up with the idea to make governance better. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came in with so much knowledge. He's also a street boy, and in fact he calls himself a city boy. He understands what administration really is. But the conditions he met on ground couldn't have made him to take off smoothly. There was no takeoff for him. So he had to force himself to take off. and that's why we are still suffering till today. But again, we'll still give him 51. How much did you give? Hold on, we gave him one of 52. Oh, we'll give him 51. But he's been able to come up with some policies like taking away some of the contentious things, very strong things the federal government couldn't do, but which were assigned to the federal government and was put on the exclusive legislative list. He's been able to take some of those off and put on the concurrent, so that the state government could also carry some of these burdens. Some of them include electricity. I think train is there, air management and all of that. Some of these things are actually there. So it behoves the state governments now to say, you have liberalized this sector. Let me go in and make investments in this sector for the interest of my people. I would expect Akwa Ibom State government to rejig and tell the federal government we should redesign and look at the power purchase agreement. We are producing 177 or so, 174, 177 megawatts of electricity. Akwa Ibom does not need more than 150, 130, 140 megawatts of electricity to have 24 hours of power every day of the month, every day of the week, every day of the month. We don't need more than that. So why would we produce 177, upload it up to the national grid, and you are giving pittance from it, which you have to now share and see how to make money from it. So we are saying Akwa Ibom can generate now by virtue of the Electricity Act of 2023. Akwa Ibom can generate, can distribute, and can make money from it. So the government, there is hope for both governments. We see this government going far, but some of the policies the government is bringing out and some of the projects, we have our fears about some of those projects. You can't be constructing 700 kilometers of road for 16-point-something billion, whereas the road from Cairo to South Africa, which is about 12,000 plus kilometers, is costing $18 billion. So some of these padding, they are not really good for our health.
All right, Council. Prior to the takeoff of this administration, we noticed that a few weeks into the president's inauguration, prices of food items, transportation, everything skyrocketed. Do you think the introduction of the fuel subsidy was not hasty?
I don't understand. Did they introduce fuel subsidy?
No, sorry, petroleum subsidy.
The removal.
The removal of this.
Everything, the price of things skyrocketed on May 29, 2023. The man did not leave Eagle Square when the prices went up. That pronouncement was, I would in my normal mind say it was a misadventurous comment.
Okay.
But I would rather not use it, even though it has gone out of my mouth. It was not envisaged. The effects were not envisaged. That look, Nigerians are very independent people. Though. I don't know.
Some people say it should have been an installmental removal.
It should have come in stages.
In stages.
No, there was no fuel subsidy. Even Buhari said fuel subsidy is a scam. There was no fuel subsidy. We were looking for money to run administration. That was what happened. You don't understand me?
This is according to findings from the civil society organization.
Yes. Not only civil society, some of the directors in the federal ministries, they also know. Some of the top civil servants, they know that money, in fact, it affected everybody. It affected the states, it affected the local government, it affected various communities, and everybody, apart from those who are in government, not like Edeke, because I think Edeke still buys his fuel. But for those who don't buy fuel, who get fuel from fuel dump of government houses, they are not bothered. The government pays for everything. We want, if the federal government is saying, bring your scorecard, it's a good thing. Let us know. This project, look at what he did to the Minister of the Humanitarian Affairs.
Humanitarian Affairs, better I do.
Immediately he sensed corruption. Not that the president himself has not been accused of corruption and other heinous offenses, but he listened. The man reads newspapers, like Omoino reads newspapers. He follows comments. There are certain comments we have made that got to him, and he responded. So we are saying we need a government who is not deaf and dumb, that can listen. And I think the federal government of Bola Tinubu is listening.
Okay, Mr. Patrick. Yeah, I'm tilting towards your direction now, because I would like to hear your point of view, perspective concerning the performance of the federal government. But I'd like us to talk particularly about the economy. The SGF has said that the government has made significant strides, and he specifically spoke about the economy, saying that we earn money now. State governments now have more allocation. What would you?
Before he answers that question, in dollars, how much is the money coming to the state government? You must appreciate the fact that the volatility of the exchange rate and our not producing anything in this country has killed whatever they claim to be gains that have come. The 16 billion naira that comes now is akin to about 2 billion naira some years ago.
Yeah.
So I leave it to a decade.
Sharon, before I answer that question, first of all, I need to make something clear. I'm going to be talking as a public affairs analyst at this particular time, not as a special assistant to His Excellency. Okay, at this point. So, you know, prior to my appointment, I've been on this issue, even on this station here when we talked about this administration, and I've always held the opinion that from the beginning, especially with the announcement of the removal of the fuel subsidy, for me it was hastily done. I think it was the administration trying to play to the gallery. Why do I say so? Nigerians were tired of the numerous stories that were coming as a result of the fuel subsidy that was existing, that all were made to believe that it was existing. Now, all the presidential aspirants then were all talking about the removal of the subsidy. So it became the national anthem of the campaign. But none of them actually took the pains to tell us that, okay, this is how we were going to go about it in the removal of it. If you just oppose that with what happened in Akwa Ibom State, because we need to draw some of this comparison, His Excellency came with the Arise agenda. It was an agenda that he had carefully put together. When he became the governor, he put that agenda to the people of Akwa Ibom State, devoid of political party coloration, to look at this Arise agenda. Let's extrapolate on it, let's criticize it, let's do what we need to do to it so that it can come out as a formidable document and a plan with which we will run the administration of Akwa Ibom State, as it were. And you saw what happened. It was almost 3 or 4 days that Akwa Ibomites took their time in the dialogue. It was even Christian, the dialogue. And then when it came out, the Arise agenda was watered down to about 17 focal points with which the administration is running. And that's why you find out that we are making such meritorious advancement in Akwa Ibom State after just a year. It's because just like an architect sticks to his plan, that is why His Excellency has stick to that plan in Akwa Ibom State, and that's why we see what is happening right now. Now, when you go over to the federal government, it wasn't the case. The removal of the subsidy, immediately His Excellency became the president, trying to curry the support of Nigerians who were hitherto tired with the recurring news about the effect of the subsidy, said subsidies moved. And you see, in Nigeria, everything is tied to the aprons of our energy mainstay, which is petrol. That is petrol and DPK, which is diesel. And anything that touches these two things touches virtually everything in the country. And that was the beginning of the spiral down. Everywhere I was always on the studio. I said, no, I am not against the removal of subsidy, but I do know that virtually in functional economies across the world, their energy mainstay is always subsidized. This is aimed at improving or geared toward to make sure that production, it improves production. And when you improve production, productivity improves in the economy. The economy enjoys an upward positivity, as it were. But when the energy mainstay is not subsidized, there is going to be trouble. The same thing with agriculture. So I don't know where the economic advisors were at that particular point that asked His Excellency to do that. And this has nothing to do with political party correlation. This has to do with Nigerians. Nobody can tell me that the effect of that stuff is gone. It's still lingering. That's what we are still going through up till this moment. And how much do you buy fuel now? At the gas stations, it's about 850 naira. Some gas station 900 naira. At the black market, it's 1,000 naira a litre.
But you notice it's higher in Akwa Ibom State than neighboring states.
It is everywhere. The price of fuel has skyrocketed everywhere in this country.
But ours is different.
No, when you look at stuff, because you say you remove subsidy, so those who are bringing, when you remove subsidy, what do you do? When you remove subsidy, it means everybody sells at how they want to sell, depending, because they incur their costs. Are you getting me? It means you don't have what? A price control, some level of price control. That's what is happening. And so people who are bringing their fuel, you don't know where it's bringing his fuel. Do you know where it's bringing his fuel from Niger? When he brings his fuel from Niger, he has to pass through Sokoto and all the way. He's going to incur all those costs. He's going to factor it into his pricing. What we should be looking at in that point, if you say, which is subject to verification, if you say that Akwa Ibom State is different, then we'll look at the reasons why you think Akwa Ibom State is different and begin to address it. That is subject to verification if you say so. But I know fuel across the country has skyrocketed, and that is why we are having this. Aside the insecurity situation, this is why we are having this cost in a skyrocketed price of food items in the market.
And do you think, in your opinion, do you think if we had a tank farm, it would have helped us?
I am not into the fuel business, so I don't want to hazard any opinion that might be hints on my ignorance of how the business operates in that side. So I think that the government, like the barrister said, when it has to do with the modular refineries that were closed down, I would also, just like the Israel vice president, Professor Yunus Ibanja, he was very passionate about having functional modular refineries. So instead of these people stealing the crude, they are going to be regulated where you pay. You pay, and then you are being taught the modern way, the proper way of refining these products. And then you see, when you have this product around, definitely price will crash. And then apart from that, it will also create legitimate employment. Let me give you an example. Even though I don't support it, but I'm going to use an illustration here. When President Barack Obama became president of America, one of the major challenges they had with drug-related issue was marijuana. Marijuana was causing, that's India, the regular Indian hemp, was causing a whole lot of problems. People were killing people, streets, people were naming street, this is my turf, don't come here and sell, or, guns and all whatnot. Then he came and said, okay, there is a medical marijuana, and then we can regulate this and still make money out of it. So, hey, nobody should kill anybody. If you want to sell marijuana, come and register. And then there are designated clinics where you can go and get a shot out of it. So what happened? People did not go to street corner again to go and kill themselves to get in their hemp. All you need to do was, are you certified to smoke it? You go to regulated clinic, and then you pay, and then you get it. So it kills the crime related to Indian hemp, the killings and all whatnot. So what am I trying to say in essence is this: like the modular refineries, instead of shutting them down, which definitely that it's going to be very difficult for you to completely shut them down, because as you're shutting down this particular place, another one is springing up. Because these guys are already used to the system, it's more like a drug at this particular point. Their addiction is crazy, So as you're shutting this down, another one is bringing up. Instead of doing that, why don't you get them together, train them mentally, get your revenue from them, because you said they will now buy this product legitimately, and then they refine it appropriately, not best practice across the world, and then we'll have this products across the nation. But you also know one of the major challenges we have right now, it's the exchange rate. Just like the barrister said, if you had 1 million naira 4 or 5 years ago, let's say 5 years ago, we have 1 million naira 5 years ago. Now that 1 million naira is almost 6 or 7 million naira now. That's what it means.
Mr. Patrick, you see this issue of refineries. Yeah, actually, beginning with this administration, there's been a lot of talks about refineries. The Port Harcourt refinery starting in December, and then we moved from that this year to Kaduna refineries, and still nothing is being done about. We've not heard of any beginning of operations on any of the refineries. What we're beginning to see now is that we're tilting towards the Dangote refinery, which is a private business. But if we're going to talk about these refineries, we can go on and on and on and on. We don't have time for that. We have just about 15 minutes to wrap things up. Let's go into security. And why I'm particular about this is, and I'm asking you particularly, is you grew up in the north. There's been a lot of killings, kidnappings right there in the north. What would you rate the military, this administration, in terms of security?
I think we cannot sufficiently stop talking about refinery, because the entire economy of the country is hinged on what happens at the refinery. So we have to really spend time there, because once we get it right at the refinery, automatically it affects a whole lot of other sectors as it were. Even the refinery talking about, some of the militaries have been allegedly involved in issues that has to do with refinery and oil sector as well. Some of the issues we had in the Niger Delta, like it were. So that area of discussion is one that is very sensitive, that we cannot just sweep
Sure.
under. But since you say we should sweep it under the carpet, let's do that.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to the issue of security, I like to tell people that security is everybody's business, as far as I am concerned, because it is the bush rat that shows it is the house rat that shows the bush rat, the corner, the nooks, the crannies in the house, not the bush rat. The bush rat hardly knows those places. The bush rat does not even know where the traps are. The bush rat does not know where the maneuvers are. It's the house rat. So it is an everybody's affair, and that's why everybody must be involved. I think since this administration came in, the plethora of insecurity nationwide has reduced considerably. It's no longer as it used to be, where we are hearing maximum security is being breached in Abuja, the nation's capital, a whole state taking over, and bridges were what's it called? Flags of insurgents were hosted in states, and complete takeover, and then business shut down and all whatnot. There's been a considerable improvement, and I really sincerely want to give it to some that they've done well when it has to be security, because there's been an improvement. Even though we still have some pocket of issues that has to do with this Kogi, Abuja, Kaduna highway and the train issue, it is an improvisation. The bad guys, like I want to refer to them, are improvising in that other area, but I think it's still being tackled, because for a very long time now, we've not heard such kind of stories again. For a very long time now. Even though some people are still skeptical about traveling by road, and then the high cost of traveling by air is not something to even write home about.
When you say for a long time, how long? Because there was kidnapping on Abuja Kogi Road early this year.
When I say for a long time, it was like almost a daily occurrence before now. But I mean, early this year to now, that is like five months or so, almost 6 months in the next couple of days. So for us in Nigeria, that's a pretty long time. If you are abreast with what was happening security-wise,
Mr. Patrick.
Yeah, that is the truth. The frequency with which insecurity issues were hitting us in this country prior to now was something else. It was not even. It was almost like a daily issue. So something that was a daily issue, and now you are staying for like 5 months without it occurring, your brain naturally tells you that, wow, it's a pretty long time. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not saying that that 6 months is a long time in the real sense, but for something that was almost on a daily occurrence and it's not happening again for about 6 months, it's a pretty long time, to be fair. Look at it from the metaphorical part of it, but that is just the truth. And I think, like I said, it is everybody's business. They are fairly trying to get it right, but like the issue of insecurity is something that rocks virtually every country across the world. It's just that some people know how to manage theirs, and then they know how to curtail the media from making mincemeat out of it. It's just that in Nigeria we are liberal people. We can talk about everything and anything at any time, anywhere. But if you look at the security issues, it's hitting virtually everywhere around now. You check out gun violence. Is where do you have gun violence?
Okay.
Are you getting me?
If
Are you getting gun violence and all these things? Insurgencies. Right now, as we talk about the Israel and Palestinian, they are messing themselves up. Russia and Ukraine, they are messing themselves up. So
yeah, you gotta hold it there, Patrick, because we're yet to approach the world. We're still in Nigeria, and listener, if you're joining us, this is Melting Point with Sharon and I on Memories 965 FM, and you can also be part of this discussion by dialing 0803 085 7755, or you can call 0809 066 6909. Let's hear views concerning the administration's first 100 days in office, or 1 year in office.
1 year.
1 year.
in office.
1 year, right?
1 year.
Okay. Hello, good morning. Yeah, Fred, right? Back to.
Good morning again, Professor. Welcome back. Go on.
The barrister in the studio is called the president 51%. I called our governor 52%. Please, if I may ask the barrister, because Mr. President deserves the report, but he deserves 51%. But for me, he doesn't deserve that score. If I thought he deserves the score, that means our governor will get 100%. Because Governor Pastor Moino has performed better than the Mr. President.
That was his personal assessment.
But I have not seen any. The president has done so much. What has he done? That one, he didn't refinery that he has fixed.
Please, you can ask. Excuse me. You can ask your question. Don't join issues. You know.
I think he's providing his opinion.
That refinery will be ready by December. That was last year. And now we are almost in June. That refinery is not fixed. See the high exchange rate.
Okay, first of all, wrap things up. Wrap things up.
Thank you.
What has the president done to even deserve that score?
Thank you.
Don't worry. Don't join issues. Get your assessment straight.
All right. Hello. Good morning.
Yeah, I'm great to be from the US of the government.
Welcome back.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I heard your case talk about subsidy removal. And let me start from there before I enter insecurity. Subsidy removal, I've said it, and maybe can be reminded. That was around February 1920. I went out on a one-man protest. One thing I put forward in my banner was unplanned subsidy removal. That this subsidy removal was done without the president sitting down in a round with other people and saying, I said, let's put him in Arizona to mitigate the suffering that will follow up with the subsidy removal. Then Mr. President just acts on its own and acts like a military regime. This is not to happen in a democracy. Something you can just wake up in the morning and just make everything the way you want it without contacting one or two people to give you idea on how to follow it. Whether it's not for it to bring up to something to Nigeria. So Nigeria has suffered in this subsidy removal so much so that even the Nigerian say that they don't have anything to do with it because that there's nothing they can do about it, and that is true. Now let's go back to insecurity. Also, about that in last February, I put forward also facing insecurity. That we have so much insecurity in the present administration, in the beginning of this administration, so that even the country was shaking. So, what we need to do as a people, we have the right as a people to back the government. So this is what they are going to do. This is what they are going to do. We have to bring support to the people. But we will not just sit down and say Mr. President did not speak in July and refiner that he said. People need to take the door by the hand and say Mr. President is telling us that the professional refinery is not by December. Why does that refinery be working by now?
All right.
Take that refinery.
Thank you very much. Thank you. We're still going to be taking calls, though we have about 5 minutes left to take hold. Mr. Patrick is still in the studio, and we have some Facebook comments that I would also like to read. Now, why would your panelist change his portfolio when he wanted to address and score the president's performance? Because he wants to be biased about rating the president without looking at the other side of the coin. Had state revenues not increased to state governors, I don't like sentiment in legal issues. This comes from Joe Jackson. Murphy, Philadelphia. Permit me to interject. When they speak of one of the ministers during the governor's Thanksgiving event, quote and unquote, will flag off the Ibom seaport by July. Mark the word July. Okay, let's take more calls.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, you're welcome.
Yeah, Johnny took my colleague
From
from Idu.
Idurman, okay.
Yeah, yes, I am. I want to quickly align with the speaker that has to do that said something about the petroleum, subsector as being very vital to the economy. Yes, it's very common because it can maybe witness. Immediately the price, the subsidy of petroleum was removed. The prices of food and things is skyrocketing, in Nigeria, and that is what we are facing now. And the independent market did not even help issue. They hold the petroleum products and sell and pay and make so much money, and nobody's talking about that. I want to quickly say that the economy should be in such a way that our refinery should be running, because once this product comes down, the price of other goods will also come down. You go to the market, you see market women telling you that petroleum, this and that. Written that they are linking up with dollar now, and you wonder why water will just be linked to dollar and all that. So all these things are selfish interests that, sabotage the economy. But I would love to say this, that I really scored the governor of Akwa State at some point of very high. You can see what I love so much about this man has to do with the human feelings that he has for people. Look at what he did when he was mentioning that, health center in the hospital. He said that they should not transfer those staff that were working there and suffer over time. Now that they have some skated machines and equipment, that they should not transfer them, they should train them for them to feel the impact. That is what it's supposed to do. And look at some of the commissioners that was, questions posted to them yesterday. Some of them trying to be political, but the government now came out very real to put the pattern straight for people to know. So I don't want all these type of fancy, bend fingers and all that to cluster around him. They should allow him to do the best that he can for white people. At least I'm able to show direction that governance should be done in the other way, not the other way that the other previous government used to do, and nobody will talk about it. And all their heads are in the studio talking about that, but they cannot remember what they said about that whole administration. So they should have human face when they are dealing with people. Because everything that they are saying is recorded down and will be played for them in time to come.
It will. Thank you.
Now we just got the face. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very
welcome.
much.
Thank
Mr.
you
Patrick, I'd like you to react in conclusion. And then finally, just my last question to you will be, the president also has a team, the way the governor has a team, his cabinet members. How would you score the cabinet members? Do you think some of them should be shown the door?
No, it is not my purview to say that the cabinet members should be shown the door, because, like I said, I like to look at each administration like a team. In a team, you have people who are playing. I like to use the illustration of the football team. There are people who are playing defense. There are people who are playing the midfield. There are people who are playing attacking role. There are sometimes, so you see the attackers also come down to play the defensive role, as it were. All it's for the functionality of the team. What matters most is that for the team to win. Even as that, you still have the most valuable player in the team. For me, the petroleum issue in this country is one that is on the president's table, because the president also doubles as a minister of petroleum, as it were. So it is not something for us to start thinking about a particular minister that you might want to ask from the situation because of what is happening. But that being said, like I said earlier, it's a team. I think the team should get better. Where they are having issues, they should correct it.
I want to leave you to go, otherwise we'll be talking about the local government chairman, yes, and
when it has to do, I'm happy the last caller talked about the Basico Commission of the Health Center. It's not just about the workers who were there that were asked not to be asked or sent away to be trained. The governor also made sure that about 200% should be employed immediately to mark up. And then this is for the last thing you said I should say is that for our government, like I like to say, this is the government of the day. It's a government that is actively involved in transformation, not transactional. So look at their rights agenda in its totality, embrace it, embody it. You will find a place in there, just like the book of Habakkuk says, that the vision has been written down, that whosoever reads it will run with it. And it's just like the same way their rights agenda, it's there. Whosoever embodies it and embrace it will definitely run with it. Congratulations to all our Akwa for a 1 year on the occasion of a 1 year administration of His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa State.
Thank you very much, Mr. Patrick. Okay, we've come to the end of the program, The Melting Point. We've been with the Special Assistant to the Governor on Electronic Media, Mr. Patrick Edeke, and also a lawyer, journalist, chartered mediator, coordinator of Akwa Ibom Human Rights Community, Executive Director, Foundation for Civic Education, Human Rights Development Advancement. His name, Barrister Clifford Thomas. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right, thank you very much for joining us, and I hope we'll do this again tomorrow. Thanks. I am Anifio Kunkerewen. Good morning.
My name is Sharon Mando. Enjoy the rest of your public holiday.